Now, the president also included language in the infrastructure legislation requiring the use of American-made goods and materials in the projects funded through the legislation. The problem in some cases, though, is that some of those materials and goods are no longer made in the United States, and waiting until you've ginned up new domestic suppliers adds cost and can delay some of these projects. How concerned are you about the tension between delivering infrastructure improvements in a timely fashion so that taxpayers can see that this legislation is working, and yet taking time to satisfy the Buy America goals? Aren't these in conflict?
I mean, to be honest, they are in conflict to a certain degree, and this is a concern that we have to work through, because I think we can all agree that we would like things to be made in America. You know, we want the economic benefits from our industries and the parts that we get for other things that we are producing to go to Americans. We want American workers to have jobs. We want American factories to be producing goods that we sell to the world rather than buying everything from China or other places like that. But of course, it's not so simple, right? I mean, we have trade. A trade exists across the world because certain countries have certain advantages, competitive advantages in certain things. And so what we really need to do is figure out the right balance. I don't foresee a world where every single thing is 100% made in America. But at the same time, especially during the pandemic, we recognize the risks that we have when we depend on foreign countries, especially if they're adversaries of ours, for critical supply chains, for the supply of critical goods. And China has made their industrial policy to control rare earth minerals. These are the special certain things that are mined, these special materials that are mined in only a few places around the globe that are critical for many of our advanced technologies. And so, you know, your iPhone has a lot of rare earth minerals in it, and China controls an extraordinary percentage of the world's supply of these materials, because way back in the 1990s, they recognized that this was going to be an issue, and they developed an industrial policy really connected to their whole national security policy to control these resources around the globe. That's a critical vulnerability for us. If China just decides that they're going to cut off the supply of these rare earth minerals to the United States in the same way that we have cut off the supply of advanced microchips to China, then we're going to be in a world of hurt. And so we have to develop the capacity to produce these rare earth minerals ourselves. That's an example of a place where we want something to be made in America. But does it mean that literally every plastic piece in a car needs to be made here? That's something that's up for debate. And you're right. Ultimately, it comes down to what's the most efficient use of taxpayer resources.